How's it going, people? Um, or person, or the entire world? Uh, just here to check in before the year ends. Probably was apart from 1 month, 2 months, 3 months really. The first 9 months. No, yeah, 9 months. Sorry, cut. um, Hi guys. So yeah, I'm just recapping the year. Didn't do very many videos this year, but I did have a lot of success going from the end of 2020 up till I think it was October or so this year. I hadn't used any opiates apart from, I don't even know if it is an opiate, but apart from the Suboxone, which I'm prescribed daily. So I any didn't use any opiates basically for the entire year. Then I had a slip up. I was 10 months clean from November last year. It must have been around about October this year. I had a slip up and I was devastated. I was like, fuck, this is never going to end. There's 10 months down the drain. It was the longest I'd ever had in 8 years? Seven and a half years. Jesus Christ. Didn't realise we were that far along, but anyway. So yeah, I had a slip up, which turned into another slip up a couple of weeks later, because at that point I was like, well, I've thrown away 10 months, so who cares if I throw away 2 weeks? And then a month passed, or maybe another 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I don't know. And there was another slip up. I think I had like 3 slip ups in total. Quite close together. The last time I used was no calendar. Just over, fuck, it seems longer, but almost 3 weeks ago was the last time, and it was a scary time. Because I was actually in this room and I was using right there, and then I run over. Basically, as soon as I finished, I got this pain rushing up to my head. It was like pins, needles in your blood, sort of, but it went rushed up to my brain, and it was fucking scary. And this happens a lot, so it does. But I always run over to the sink and pour water over my head. Funny thing is, that's when you know the gear's really strong, but I think it's mixed because I've had other gear that was strong that didn't do that. And this was unbelievably strong because I went over and I poured the water over my head, and then next thing I wake up like 3 hours later, maybe 2.5 hours later, and the water's still gushing from the tap, and I was lying on the ground right there, just lying. Woke up, my face bloated out. I've actually got a video because I Snapchatted someone after, and I saved it. Well, I never actually sent the Snapchat actually, so I recorded it and I saved it to my memories. Memories. But anyway, yeah. So that was a big scare from it, and I actually had some left of that stuff in the bowl that I could have made into another hit, and I didn't take it. I didn't, not because I didn't want to. I just didn't think of it because I was I was off my head basically. I was just lying trying to play a video game, just nodding out constantly for hours. Then by the time I even thought of using the last of it, it was Tuesday, and I had to go get my subs. The only reason I was using that day too was because I fell asleep when I was supposed to go and get my subs on the Monday, because I'd been using on the Sunday and Saturday. I had no commitments that day. Usually I do have commitments on the weekend, but that weekend I only had commitments up until early Saturday. So whenever Saturday came, I was on my own. I just decided, fuck it. I've got my take homes here, I'll just not take them. The Suboxone, I'll not take them, and then I can use. That's always how I would use it. Would be like, if I've got free time on my own and I've got my take homes, it's very easy to use. So I've done well over Christmas because I've had a lot of take homes, the Suboxone home with me, and I could have just not used them, and it would have been fine to use, basically. Use the gear instead. But I didn't, so over Christmas I've done very well. I haven't used since the 13th of December, so it's the 30th now. It's about 17 days. Maybe not quite 2 weeks yet, but it's close. 3 weeks, sorry, it's close to 3 weeks. But anyway, the reason I'm making this video is because I've got a new goal. Basically, I was 22 when all this started. So in 2022, I'm going to make it the year that it ends. So last year I've used this 2021. And I make this New Year's resolution every year. And always decide, right, this year I'm not going to use. That's probably why I got such a long clean time in 2021, because I was really committed to not using. And when I say this, it's not like I'm a full-fledged addict anymore. Like, I am an addict, I know that, but I haven't been using like on a regular basis in years and years. It's only ever, basically I get clean time, and I get so much clean time and then I start to miss the gear. So I know that will happen in 2022. I need to prepare for that. Right now I don't really have desire to use because I used quite recently. So it's always easier not to use whenever you've had a relapse. Although it always is the same way. I get loads of clean time, and then I use for about 2 months quite regularly. Say every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks or so. But again, it's only about 3 times in 2 months, so it's not a big problem. It's just there's sort of a mental thing where if you have clean time, what was I gonna say? Fuck, forget. Sorry, my head's up my hole. Yeah. If I haven't used in a really long time, fuck, I forget. I was gonna say something, but doesn't matter. I'll just say something else. Basically, if I haven't used in a long time, I start to get cravings again. And I always look at it as I've only been clean. I'm only as good as my last relapse, really. So although I had 10 months clean from November to October, November last year to October this year, although I had that clean time, the relapses have sort of washed away those 10 months. Like, it's almost as if those 10 months never happened in my head. But I shouldn't look at it that way, because I made a lot of progress in terms of like not letting the gear have a hold on me as much. That should be my catchphrase. But yeah, sorry, I don't know what to say now. I paused it there to get a wee drink of water, so anyway, sort of just checking in here to let anyone know that anyone who cares know that I am committed now to never using again. The reason I sort of made this video though is because I was sort of starting to get cravings again. It's going to be New Year's here, so I'll get take homes over New Year's, and because I've used quite recently, it's easier for me to get in touch with people to get gear. When I haven't used in a while, people change their phone numbers and you don't really have a way to contact anyone, although there always is sort of a way. You just need to reach out to someone local who you know, who knows that you've used before, and just get in touch with them and be like, yo, what's a crack? Can we get some gear here today? But yeah, so I've sort of had a bit of cravings. Just the more I think about gear, the more I crave. It's just hard not to think of it because I'm not really doing anything else with my life at the minute. I'm just sort of, in recovery. But it's funny because most of the time I'm clean. I haven't found a way to move on from the gear. I sort of still, even though I'm clean, I still live the life of an addict. Like, I'm not working. I go every day to get my legal fix of Suboxone. So it's almost like it is a substitute for the gear, and sort of still live like I'm an addict, even though my fix is just simply, you know, these tablets. I've got these from my last relapse, basically. That's what I'm on there. Suboxone. So my addiction is basically this now, I went from using, my drug of choice to these tablets. Now these don't do anything for you. Basically they just stop you from being sick. Even then though, it doesn't cure everything. Like, you still sort of, it's supposed to hold you each day, but I always sort of feel like I need them. These tablets, like at night time, I'll start to feel a bit like, just not badly sick, like it's manageable. I just sort of start to feel a bit under the weather, and that's when you know that, you're approaching the time when you could use again without the opiates being blocked. Basically, the Suboxone has a blocker in it, so that if I wanted to use now, I've already had my Suboxone today, so if I wanted to use now, it wouldn't actually work. If I used now, I'd have to wait until I start feeling that sickness sort of feeling that I get at night time. So if I waited till tomorrow morning, I would easily be able to use again, but obviously I'm not going to. It's just every day you have that choice really of whether to go to the chemist and get your prescription, or else go and meet a dealer. So, sort of getting sick of even having to think about all this shit, but I'm coming up to 8 years now. 7 full years I've been on the Suboxone, but it's almost 8 years since I started with the opiates. Probably more than that now. I didn't start off with the don't really like saying it, but the H. I don't know. But anyway, I'll just cut this video short because it's been going on for over 13 minutes and I haven't really said anything. But yeah, basically, that's the main thing of this video is I started when I was 22 and in 2022 it ends. So 8 years of misery. Now, it hasn't been 8 years of misery all the time. It's mostly when I'm on my own I'm miserable, but I do have a family that I care a lot about, and I see my family on a regular basis, so all that time is good. It's just when I'm on my own, I sort of, my head just can't cope really, and I only really feel like myself whenever I'm on something. Now sometimes I'll take like benzodiazepines to make myself more confident, but they sort of just numb my bad thoughts, and they never really make me feel like how I feel when I'm on the opiates. On the opiates, I just feel like a super version of myself. But when I'm sober and just taking this Suboxone, I don't feel like myself at all. I haven't felt like myself since before all this started. It's sort of like I'm only really using to medicate my mental health. It gives me confidence and everything, and whenever I go a long period of time clean, I find that it gets harder and harder to stay clean the longer I am clean, because I'm always missing that release, the relief that the gear give me. But I'm prepared for all that. I've sort of slowly been making progress through the years, because before the 10 months I had clean, the longest I'd ever had clean was about 4 months. And then before that it would have been 2 months. So I'm building on it, and it was a big leap, because I went from only ever having 4 months clean to having 10 months clean, which was amazing. So if I can keep building like that, hopefully I can double that and keep just never use again. It's just, once you've sort of went down that road, it's hard to find another road to go on to. It's always going to be like a scar on my life these 8 years. Well, 7, but coming up eventually it will be 8, and who knows, based on my track record, I could have another slip up. Sometimes I justify the slip ups by saying, well, it's just a one off, and in a way that's right, it is just a one off, but it always sort of turns into more, and there's the risk of losing, everything, each time you go down that road. So I don't want that to happen, because I know if that happened, it would push me over the edge, and I'd be like, well, I've nothing to stay clean for now, because I'm not really staying clean for myself, I'm staying clean for my family. And if I was to lose my family over this, I would definitely not handle that well. And I know in my head I'd just be like, well, there we go, there's the justification you need to start using again, because it did happen when I first started using it. I lost all access, and at that point I was like, fuck it, I'm just away now, I've lost everything, I'll go and use, that's all I've got left. So I don't want that to become something. But even by doing these videos, I'm risking that someone watch this, they could be like, this fucker's lying, he's not as clean as he said, and he's breaking the rules here, so it's time to punish him. I'm not going into too much details, because I don't want to completely fuck myself here by making this, but again, these videos are mostly for me to look back on. I was looking back on the one there, that's why I sort of did this video. I was watching the one I did after the 10 months clean, that when I had my relapse, so I was just sort of looking back on that, and I was like, I think I'll update here on how I'm doing, mostly just from a new catchphrase, started when I was 22 and it ends in 22, so that's the goal. I'll maybe give you a checkup, or I'll maybe do another checkup whenever I'm further into this. Hopefully I'll not be coming back with bad news, because I tend to just ignore the channel when I'm doing well. And I'm doing well now, but it's still pretty fresh from the last relapse. As I say, I had that really scary situation happen, where I basically think I was close to overdosing, but obviously I woke up, God ain't finished with me yet, but I don't know what plans he's got for me, or she, whatever God is. But anyway, hope everyone had a good Christmas, and we'll get rid of 2021 into 2022. And that's the year for me that it's all going to end. That's my plan. I remember a few years ago it was 2020, so my 2020 vision was to get clean. But this is a better catchphrase. Started in 22, or it ends in 22, and I started when I was 22, so that's the goal. Holy fuck, 19 minutes. Sorry, I'll cut this off now. Thanks for watching, anyone, and Happy New Year. Bye.